very warm welcome to Thorough Newspaper Analysis for 8th of April, which is brought to you by LawSikho. Now let's proceed with the agenda for today. At the very outset, we're going to have a look at some of the important national and international news updates. This is going to be followed by a legal news update for today. And at the very end, we have an editorial to discuss, the title of which is IT Misrules. Essentially, इस editorial में author makes a case against the amendments which have been brought about or promulgated by the central government on Thursday in the IT rules of 2021. We're going to have a look at what are the reasons which have been cited in the article against the amendment and which makes a case for rethinking of the same. With this, let's start with the TNF for today. So the first update is in the segment of personalities. Recently, the Union of European Football Associations, it has gotten its new president in form of Aleksander Ceferin. He has been re-elected as the president unopposed. Before this, he was appointed as the 7th president in the year 2016, and now he is going to serve a 4-year term. Secondly, Kalekesh Narayan Singh Deo, who held the position of Senior Vice President of the National Rifle Association of India. He has now taken over as the President of the association. This change has occurred because the previous president, who was Runinder Singh, he went on a long leave after the Sports Ministry issued a directive stating that the heads of the National Sports Federation cannot hold office for more than 12 years. Next update is with respect to a study which was being conducted by IIT Gandhinagar about the groundwater depletion. The study said that 95% of the groundwater depletion, it was accounted for by North India, and it stated that the depletion is so stark in North India that even rainfall would not be in a position to substantially or sufficiently refill the resources which have been so depleted. Moving on to the next update. This is with respect to Tripura being awarded the award for best performing state in northeastern region for E-procurement. This award was presented at a national workshop on E-procurement which was conducted in March by the Union Ministry of Finance and Ministry of Electronic and Information Technology. This award, it recognized the state's continuous efforts to promote e-procurement, which has led to a significant transformation in the way procurement activities are conducted. Now, this has brought us to our next segment, which is the international news segment. So the first update is with respect to India-US signing deal for missiles and also for torpedoes for Indian Navy. So India is going to sign a weapons deal with the United States soon to buy American weapons, including Hellfire missiles and Mark 54 anti-submarine torpedoes. This is a step towards strengthening their military hardware cooperation. Next update is with respect to the World Health Day. This day was observed on 7th of April, and this is to bring attention to a special health topic of concern to the people all around the world. It is celebrated to commemorate the founding of the World Health Organization on April 7, 1948. This year marked WHO's 75th anniversary. It is being celebrated with the theme Health for All. Moving on to the legal update segment for today. So the recent Supreme Court recently has held that in a suit for partition of joint property, a decree by consent amongst only some of the parties, it cannot be maintained. When a settlement deed has been executed in respect of a joint property, then such settlement must record the written consent and signature of all the parties in order to attain legality. The name of this particular case is Prasanta Kumar Sahoo and others versus Charulata Sahu and others. Before we proceed to the editorial, I have a question. Please put down your answer in the comment section. I would really like to know whether res judicata is applicable on a consent decree, and also which order and rule of the CPC provides for consent decree. Moving on to the editorial segment for today, the title of which is IT Misrules. तो देखिए पहले बिफोर वी डाइव इनटू द आर्टिकल इटसेल्फ, पहले तो हम ये समझेंगे कि इस पूरी अमेंडमेंट का ऑब्जेक्टिव एंड एम क्या है. फॉर दिस वी आर गोइंग टू हैव मेक अ रेफरेंस टू अ प्रेस रिलीज बाय मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स एंड आईटी, एंड उसके बाद हम briefly we're going to understand as to what is the implication of these amendments, and then we're going to have a look at what are the arguments which are cited by the author of this particular argument against the amendments which have been so brought about. So see, as far as the press release is concerned, which highlights the aim and the objective of this amendment promulgated by the central government, it states that reaffirming its commitment to protect the safety and trust of digital Nagriks, the Ministry of Electronics and IT, Government of India today, that is Thursday, notified amendment to the Information Technology Intermediary Guidelines and Digital Media Ethics Code Rules of 2021, also known as the Rule of 2000 IT Rules of 2021, related to online gaming and spread of false and misleading information regarding government business. So essentially यहाँ पे हम ये देख पा रहे हैं कि जो टू ऑब्जेक्टिव हैं जो गवर्नमेंट फर्दर करना चाह रहे हैं विद दीज टू अमेंडमेंट्स इज एक तो टू रेगुलेट ऑनलाइन गेमिंग इंडस्ट्री एंड सेकेंडली टू रेगुलेट द स्प्रेड ऑफ फॉल्स एंड मिसलीडिंग information regarding government business. Further, the press release states that the aim of these amendments it is to enforce greater due diligence by online gaming and social media intermediaries in respect of online games and fake or false misleading information related to government business. अब हम समझते हैं कि एसेंशियली ऐसे क्या चेंजेस लाए गए हैं गवर्नमेंट के द्वारा इन दोनों ऑब्जेक्टिव्स को फर्दर करने के लिए. तो देखिए गवर्नमेंट की जो अमेंडमेंट्स हैं इनसे क्या होगा, अब सोशल मीडिया इंटरमीडियरीज हैं जैसे कि फेसबुक हो गया, ट्विटर हो गया एंड अदर्स ऑल्सो, दे आर नाउ ऑब्लिगेटेड टू इन्फॉर्म देयर यूजर्स थ्रू इंटरनल रूल्स या कोई और मैकेनिज्म के द्वारा, चाहे रेगुलेशन होगी, पॉलिसीज, टू टेल देयर यूजर्स दैट दे कैन नॉट or that they cannot host, display, upload, modify or publish या फिर किसी भी मैनर में they cannot put forth any information जो कि फेक हो, फॉल्स हो, मिसलीडिंग हो एंड इट कंसर्न्स द बिजनेस ऑफ द गवर्नमेंट. एंड ये ऐसी इंफॉर्मेशन जो कि ऑलरेडी गवर्नमेंट की एक फैक्ट फाइंडिंग बॉडी ने फ्लैग कर दी हो. तो गवर्नमेंट की एक फैक्ट फाइंडिंग बॉडी होगी, उस बॉडी ने अगर किसी पीस ऑफ इंफॉर्मेशन को ऐसा टैग कर दिया दैट यू नो दिस इज फेक, दिस इज मिसलीडिंग और दिस इज अ रूमर, या फिर कुछ ऐसा टैग दे दिया, तो ये जो सोशल मीडिया इंटरमीडियरीज हैं इनकी एक ड्यूटी बन जाएगी कि वो उस इंफॉर्मेशन को फर्दर आगे ना बढ़ने दे, उसको ब्लॉक कर दें या फिर उसको रिट्रैक्ट कर दें. सो दिस इज द ड्यूटी ऑफ द इंटरमीडियरीज हियर एंड वी गोइंग टू ऑल्सो अंडरस्टैंड कि अगर वो इसको फॉलो नहीं करते हैं तो उसके रेपरकशंस क्या होंगे. Now let's dive into the article itself. So the article starts by raising a question as to how the article states that at a time when no one seems to agree on a common definition of anything, should a government appointed fact finding unit or fact check unit be authority for determining what is fake, false or misleading news. Then the author makes a reference to the whole incidents where the BBC documentary, it was ordered to be taken down, and it states that almost 3 months after the central government ordered the takedown of a BBC documentary on the violence in Gujarat 2002 riots or violence under the watch of the then Chief Minister Narendra Modi, the Ministry of Electronics and IT notified Thursday the amendments to the IT rules, which allow for the creation of a fact-check body to identify whether information related to central government business it is accurate or not. एंड इससे पहले भी जनवरी में क्या हुआ था कि गवर्नमेंट ने एक प्रपोजल किया था कि कोई भी न्यूज़ जो कि प्रेस इंफॉर्मेशन ब्यूरो पीआईबी उसको अगर फेक डिक्लेयर कर देती है तो ऐसी न्यूज़ जो है ऑनलाइन इंटरमीडियरीज पब्लिश नहीं करेंगी, अलाउ नहीं करेंगी. सो वाइल द रेफरेंस टू पीआईबी इट इज नाउ बीन ड्रॉप्ड, द अंडरलाइंग मोटिवेशन दैट सीम्स टू बी गाइडिंग द अमेंडमेंट इज to give to the government itself a role of an editor with unbridled or unchecked powers to decide what can be published and what cannot be. So essentially author ये कहते हैं कि पीआईबी का जो चलो रेफरेंस अब वाली अमेंडमेंट ने हटा दिया, बट अदरवाइज ऑल्सो हम देख पाएंगे कि इस पूरी अमेंडमेंट का पर्पज यही है कि गवर्नमेंट वांट्स टू गेट इनटू द शूज ऑफ बीइंग एन एडिटर एंड सेंसर व्हाट इज बीइंग पुट फॉर्थ, पब्लिश्ड और नॉट. Of course, the author says that fake news इसके काफ़ी ज़्यादा रेपरकशंस हो सकते हैं फॉर आवर सोसाइटी एज वेल, एंड काफ़ी जैसे वायलेंट इम्पेशेंट जो एलिमेंट्स होते हैं सोसाइटी के उनको फ्यूअल भी मिल जाता है. और इसके रिस्पेक्ट में एक इंस्टेंस भी साइड करा गया है जहाँ पे कि माइग्रेंट्स के फेक वीडियोस थे वो सर्कुलेट हो रहे थे एंड इट क्रिएटेड पैनिक एंड फ्योर अमंग द नेशन. सो ऑफकोर्स देयर इज़ अ कंसर्न विच नीड्स टू बी एड्रेस, बस उसके लिए जो रिकॉर्स है ऑफ लॉ शुड बी टेकन. अगर कोई फेक न्यूज़ स्प्रेड कर रहा है जिससे कि कोई सोशल ऑर्डर की या इम्प्लीकेशन सिचुएशन हो रही है, तो वी हैव एग्जिस्टिंग लॉज दैट कैन बी टेकन रिकॉर्ड्स ऑफ, बट पर सेंसरशिप करना ऐसी किसी पोस्ट का पहले ही, दैट इज नॉट द वे आउट. And further, the author adds that it also short circuits the procedures, safeguard, and conditions which were laid down in the case of Shreya Singhal versus Union of India or under Section 69A of the IT Act, जो कि essentially define करता है, restrict करता है conditions under which the government can take down online content. तो अगर हम इस सेक्शन की बात करें तो इसमें कुछ ग्राउंड्स ले डाउन करें, जैसे कि हमारे पास आर्टिकल 19 में कुछ ग्राउंड्स हैं, रीजनेबल रेस्ट्रिक्शंस है. सिमिलरली यहाँ पे भी कुछ ग्राउंड साइड करे गए हैं, सोवरेनिटी, इंटेग्रिटी ऑफ द कंट्री एंड पीस एंड लॉ एंड ऑर्डर सिचुएशन, अदर्स ऑल्सो. अगर उनको इम्पैक्ट करने वाली कोई फेक या ऐसी मिसलीडिंग इन्फॉर्मेशन है तो उसको बाय स्टेटिंग रीजंस इन राइटिंग, गवर्नमेंट या कोई ऑथोराइज जो ऑथोराइज अथॉरिटी है वो उसको क्या कहते हैं, इट कैन बी सेंसर्ड बाय दैट, इट कैन बी टेकन आउट बाय दैट. तो इस जो सेक्शन 69 है, ऑथर का कहना है कि ये जो अभी मैकेनिज्म हमने फॉलो किया है उससे उसको भी एक सॉर्ट ऑफ ट्रिगर डाउन मिलता है. It also says that it is also not in tune with some recent reformative changes that the government brought about in the tech regulation regime. And under the new amendments, it further states that social media intermediaries, जैसे कि Facebook, Twitter, they would have to take down posts and internet service providers will have to block your URL marked as fake. And अगर वो नहीं करेंगे ऐसा, in case fact finding या check unit ने बोल दिया कि you take down this because this is fake. Now intermediaries, if they do not do it, तो उनकी जो सेफ हार्बर की जो प्रोटेक्शन है सेक्शन 79 ऑफ द आईटी एक्ट व्हिच प्रोवाइड्स फॉर इट, वो छिन जाएगी. अब फेक हार्बर क्या होता है, इसका कॉन्सेप्ट हमने हमारे प्रीवियस टीएनए में भी डिस्कस किया था. एसेंशियली क्या होता है कि अगर सोशल मीडिया, ये जो इंटरमीडियरीज हैं, अगर ये किसी एक ड्यू डिलिजेंस, जो स्टैंडर्ड ड्यू डिलिजेंस रेगुलेशंस इन प्लेस हैं, उनको फॉलो कर लेते हैं, तो उसके बाद कोई भी इनका यूजर जो भी पोस्ट करता है इनकी साइट्स पे, they are not responsible for that and civil and criminal liability cannot be attracted against them. But with the amendment that is now being promulgated, agar koi in piece of information is being designated as fake and social media intermediaries या other intermediaries, they do not take suitable action to take down this piece of information, तो इनकी जो safe harbor की protection है वो छिन जाएगी. Essentially, this means कि उनके ऊपर criminal and civil liability can be attracted in the law. And further, the article adds that given that media organizations use social media platforms for dissemination of news, this will also have implication for news publishers, journalists, and readers. Further, the court adds that recent court rulings had sought to raise the guardrails vis-a-vis government oversight over online content, जैसे कि मद्रास हाई कोर्ट ने in the case of TM Krishna versus Union of India and Bombay High Court in the case of Agis Promotion of 19-1 Media Private Limited and others versus Union of India, they put a hold on the rules which provided government a wider say on content on OTT and other digital media platforms. And further, the article refers to a statement which was given by the Ministry of State for Electronics and IT. ये सारे concerns को address करते हुए, तो उन्होंने कहा IT Minister, and I quote, any doubts in minds of the people that the power will be misused on behalf of the government, it will be addressed. However, the article ends by saying that in a climate where laws are increasingly weaponized to curb opposition and dissent, such provisions will not be misused. Will rather be misused. I'm sorry, it says that it will be misused. In the current political climate, it will be misused. The government must therefore rethink the amendment. With this, the article ends. And now with this, we've also come to the end of today's TNA. In case you want to get access to the free study material and the TNA slides that we've provided, please feel free to join our Telegram channel, and I would encourage all of you to do so using the link in the description. और यहाँ पे आप बारकोड भी स्कैन कर सकते हैं. In case you want to get in touch with LawSikho, these are the point of contacts for the same. And I would like to really appreciate the comment that was made by Mahim. He gave the correct answer to yesterday's question, and I would also encourage all of you to put down your answer to the question that was posed in this particular TNA. Also, the daily quiz based on yesterday's TNA, it is made available for your consideration in the description of this video. Please go ahead and attempt the same. And thank you for being with us.